Localization for games, movies, and even books can be a tough job. Not only do they have to change the language spoken, but even the names have to be changed. The most common change in names is that of Japanese to English, such as Dragon Quest to Dragon Warrior. The Sonic series has remained quite consistent with its names in all regions, but a few have gone through the ringer, and I'm going to list them all for you. Here are the different Sonic game names. Let's start chronologically. Sonic Chaos, the third 8-bit Sonic side-scroller for the Sega Game Gear and Master System, and an overlooked classic if you ask me. It's a standard Sonic game where you race to the end of each level and stop Dr. Robotnik and his army of robots, who are the bosses of each zone. What sets this apart from the previous two 8-bit titles is the inclusion of the Super Peel album Sonic CD, special stages, and Tails as a playable character. And with that last point brings us to its original Japanese title, Sonic and Tails. Yes, it's a simple title, but the option to play as Sonic's two-tailed friend is a high selling point, especially after saving his ass at the end of the last game. Spoiler alert. Sonic Triple Trouble, the sequel to Sonic Chaos, and this time only for the Sega Game Gear. Again, it's your basic Sonic side-scroller in the same vein as Sonic Chaos, but with a new technique, the Flying Spin Attack, which you can use after launching from springs and can be used quite effectively once you get the timing right. The Triple Trouble itself comprises of Dr. Robotnik, Knuckles the Echidna in his first 8-bit appearance, and resident bounty hunter, Knack the Weasel. And you won't believe its Japanese name, Sonic and Tails 2. I wasn't lying when I said it was a sequel to Sonic Chaos. Not only that, but Knack's original name is Fang the Sniper, so that's a 2 for 1. Sonic the Fighters. If you want to see a more detailed review, just click here. At the time, Sonic in a fighting game wasn't seen as a good thing. Sega of America feared it would show Sonic in a negative light, so it makes sense when the arcade game came to the United States and Europe, the title was changed to Sonic Championship. Then back to Sonic the Fighters when it was ported to Sonic Gems Collection and digital download in 2012. Sonic 3D. The last Sonic title for the Mega Drive and the first for the Saturn, Sonic 3D is an isometric platformer where you travel through zones and rescue all the flickies trapped within Eggman's Badniks. Considered a bad game by many because of its reduced speed and false collecting of animals, but I actually enjoyed this game. For one, it's different, the graphics look great for the time, and honestly, it's not that difficult. It's better than what people make it out to be. This is the only Sonic title that has a different name between the US and PAL regions. In the US, it's called Sonic 3D Blast, whereas in Europe and Japan, it instead has a subtitle of Flicky's Island. Personally, I prefer the latter, plus it has a better box art. Sonic Blast. Sonic Blast was an attempt at recreating the high-res 3D graphics that Sonic CD created on the Game Gear. Yeah, the result isn't perfect, but it was ambitious. Plus, despite the title, this has nothing to do with Sonic 3D. Playing as Sonic or Knuckles, you travel through zones and collect the 5 pieces of a Chaos Emerald to beat Dr. Eggman at Silver Castle. It is the weakest out of all 5 Sonic side-scrollers, but that's not to say it can't be enjoyed. Its Japanese name is a bit of an odd one, G-Sonic. No idea why, but I think it was to reflect on the Game Gear. From this point on, the names of Sonic games remain consistent throughout, until Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. The first sequel to Sonic Riders, Zero Gravity took a more futuristic approach and had gravity-based hoverboard racing instead of air-powered hoverboard racing. A huge difference because you don't run out of gravity, you just have less of it. If you want a more in-depth review, just watch this video I did years back. The main story of the game focused on these ring-shaped meteorites that can control gravity, hence the name. It's later revealed that Babylon Garden is in fact a spaceship that, centuries ago, scattered its engine parts, the gravity rings, before crashing on the planet. Over time, the Babylonians lived life on the planet, and every time they saw a shooting star, they wished it was one of the rings so they could return home. The reason why I'm talking about the story is because that's what the Japanese title is named after, Sonic Riders Shooting Star Story. Shooting stars are referenced throughout the narrative, so it's quite an appropriate title. And I still can't get over the fact that these birds are aliens. Sonic Chronicles, The Dark Brotherhood. Sonic's first and only step into the RPG genre brought to us by BioWare, the KOTOR Mass Effect guys. This game gets a lot of hate, but I don't understand why. Yes, the presentation leaves a lot to be desired, and the music can make your ears bleed. But the gameplay is simple enough for RPG noobs like me to understand, with its active turn-based combat, and the story is good. Like, really good. The story focuses on a group of marauders attacking various zones in search of the Chaos Emeralds and kidnap Knuckles. It turns out that these invaders are an army of echidnas called the Nocturnus from a pocket dimension called the Twilight Cage, led by the Emperor Ix, who wants to take over this dimension. His right-hand warrior, Shade the Echidna, betrays him and her clan and helps Sonic in order to stop Ix. The Japanese title sums up the plot of the game pretty well, Invaders from the Dark Dimension, because Twilight, Dark, Nocturne, Nocturnus, it's clever. Sonic Unleashed. I don't need to go into too much detail with this one since most of you already know. Its Japanese and original title was Sonic World Adventure. World Adventure is a more apt description of the game as you travel the world in order to put it back together, whereas Unleashed describes Sonic's werewolf transformation. Sonic Generations. This is the 20th anniversary celebration featuring both modern and classic Sonic traveling through 9 zones from different points in Sonic's 20-year-long history. Except the 3DS version has 7 zones, and aside from Green Hill, are all different. I'm kinda cheating with this one, and the reason why is that in Japan they were both given subtitles. Sonic Generations White Space Time for consoles, and Blue Adventure for 3DS. Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric, and Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal. From the highest of the high to the lowest of the low, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric struck a chord with fans and gamers not felt since Sonic 2006. While Shattered Crystal fared much better than its Wii U counterpart, it too had many problems stopping it from being a great game. The TV show, comics, and toys have kept this comedic spin-off alive, with Fire and Ice coming out later this year, which is looking to fix the problems Shattered Crystal has. Japan took the cartoony nature of Sonic Boom and took it to heart, rebranding it as Sonic Toon, and changing the subtitles for both games. Sonic Toon Ancient Treasure for Wii U, and Island Adventure for 3DS. Fortunately, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice has been able to keep its subtitle. Did you enjoy this random editorial video? If you did, let me know by leaving a like and sharing it with your friends. And if you want to see more videos like this, as well as game reviews and Sonic Theory videos, why not subscribe? You can also support this channel over on Patreon for a mere $1 or $2. Thank you all for watching, and I may actually make another video like this in the future.